joining our webinar, Making ITSM Better with ITS. We are going to get started. It is my privilege to introduce today's speakers. First, we have Mary Klein, a business process consultant at ITS, and Patrick Muchler, a technical consultant at ITS. Both are specialists within ITSM and are here to provide insight on the importance of ITSM in your organization. Without further ado, I will hand things off to Patrick and Mary.
Thank you, Rachel. Likewise, I know Mary and I are both really looking forward to discussing ITSM with you today. But before we get too far into the weeds, let's lay a foundation here. And Mary, there's so many acronyms out there in the world today. What exactly is ITSM anyway?
That's a great point, Patrick. ITSM is a set of integrated practices that help to manage the services delivered to end users. It includes incident, problem, change, service request, and more. Integration between these practices is vital. Without the integration, you're really just doing individual and siloed practices, but it's not ITSM.
Yeah, exactly. And the key to ITSM is to implement only to the degree that you're seeing a return on investment. You don't have to do all of it all at once, and we can help you determine what you should do to reach your right maturity level. ITS will help your platform grow as your company and maturity level grows.
In a previous company, we started small with our implementation of ServiceNow. We rolled out ITSM and CMDB. Over the next year, we had done over 130 service catalog items. We had rolled out major incident management and performance analytics. We phased our rollout so that we were ready for it and our end users were ready for it. And it worked great for our company.
So Mary, I think you and I are a good Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde here, because it sounds like you guys did it the right way. Whereas, my previous experience, in a company I was with, our experience was on the other end of the spectrum. We rolled out too much, too fast. And the result was it was very painful for the implementation team and painful for the business. And you really have to keep your organization in mind during an implementation, whether that's a new implementation or you're adding additional functionality to your existing instance of ServiceNow.
You're right, Patrick. And everyone listening right now is doing some part of ITSM. You are capturing issues. It might be on a piece of paper or in a spreadsheet, or you might even be using ServiceNow to do it. And you're fulfilling a request. When an employee needs something, you're getting it for them. You're monitoring changes. It might be after they go into your environment, but you're monitoring them. And you're reporting to your leadership. It might be on a bazillion Excel spreadsheets, but you're reporting to them what your IT landscape looks like.
Yeah, and doing ITSM in a non-integrated fashion, really, it's a lot like eating the hot dog, the bun, and all the condiments separately. Sure, it can be done, but it's not as efficient. It's messy, and frankly, it's just not as good.
Yes, Patrick, you are absolutely correct. There's so much that can be done in ServiceNow and so many opportunities to save time and money. You can't do it all at once. You need to do what's best for your company.
Yeah, and ServiceNow offers so much ITSM functionality to make things efficient and visible. But you have to decide on what you want to focus on. Is it going to be recording and resolving incidents more efficiently? Is it approving and tracking changes more accurately? Or is it proactively identifying trends and creating problems to prevent them in the future? Yeah, all of these things sound awesome. They sound great, but you have to focus on what's most important to your company. And you have to make sure that you're aligned with those business goals and tackle what makes sense. Using the phased approach to show wins to your stakeholders quickly and continuing to build on your success and maturity level, that's really the way to go. And ITS can come alongside you and help you decide what should come in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3, or further. Each organization is different and they're at a different level of maturity, and that's perfectly fine. We see that all the time, and we love to partner with those organizations and walk alongside them, because what we're going to do is we're going to start with where you're at. And we're going to work with you to develop a roadmap to get you where you want to be with a higher return on your ServiceNow investment faster. So Mary, where should we start?
With my experience, I would say you should start with the basics: incident, problem, change, and request. With incident, make sure that you're using auto assignments. Make sure that you can assign your incidents to the right team the first time using configuration items or your defined services. You don't want to waste time having multiple teams touching your incidents when you could get it in the right people's hands right away and have a faster turnaround. Secondly, I would definitely use Agent Workspace. It allows you and your service desk to see everything that applies to them in a single screen. All the tickets that are assigned to them, to their team, they can access knowledge, they can edit their tickets. It's a great tool.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Agent Workspace because this is something that honestly I had a love relationship with it before. Now it's an all love relationship, but I was skeptical of Agent Workspace at first. I've used multiple ITSM platforms before ServiceNow, and even when I started using ServiceNow, I just naturally gravitated to working incidents from the incident form. And, if I wanted multiple incidents open simultaneously, it meant multiple browser tabs. That's just the way I worked. But being able to have multiple incidents open at the same time, it's really worth its weight in gold. Say you want to follow up on an incident. You could be responsible and remember the incident number, but I never was. You could set a calendar reminder in Outlook, but I never did. Or, you could write it on a sticky note, but inevitably it's going to get lost in the sea of sticky notes that are on your desk. Or through something like Agent Workspace, you can just leave the incident up and you can quickly get back to it when it's time to follow up. Agent Workspace makes it almost too easy. And I love that now.
I'm glad you came to the right side on that, Patrick. So Agent Workspace allows the IT people to focus on what's important. Another thing that is related to incidents is major incident management. What major incident management does is it allows you to focus your resources on a high impact incident. One place to look at these is on the major incident management workbench. Similar to the agent workspace, the workbench gives you an easy one screen view of everything that's happening with the major incident. It can help you prevent additional downtimes. It can help you get all the right people involved, and it can help you resolve the issue faster.
And let's be honest, there's really nothing worse than having a major incident in your organization and not knowing who owns the service that's down. Trying to track down that information and then get all the necessary parties on a call, it's nearly impossible. I mean, it's hurting cats. And the longer it takes, the more it costs. Even then, that's only half the battle. You still have to figure out how to restore that service. And when you do, one piece that organizations tend to struggle with is communication. From a support standpoint, experiencing a major incident, it's frustrating, but think of the customer / the end user, right? We've all had to go through those tragic moments when our favorite streaming service is down, and that's bad enough, especially when you're looking to, binge your favorite show. But, the damage can be lessened with proper communication. Imagine where you come to your favorite streaming service and it's just not working, but there's no communication coming to you whatsoever. So you just have no idea what's going on and your mind's left to just wonder. And contrast that with a company that says, hey, we know this is currently down. We're currently working on it. Hey, maybe this is the estimated time of repair. That's a lot better. And you know what? ServiceNow makes all of this nice and easy for you.
Speaking of outages, Patrick, ServiceNow has change capabilities that allow you to proactively plan some of these. So one thing that you should do is define the relationships between configuration items and services. We talked about this with incidents. Again, this is very important because when you make a change to something, things upstream and downstream can have effects on that. It could force your streaming service to go down and no one was aware of it. Another thing that I would suggest you do with changes is to link incidents and problems to changes. This allows you to communicate with the affected users what's going on, and it allows you to see everything that's related to that change. You should also use out-of-the-box workflows. So the standard, normal, and emergency change workflows, those are very important. ServiceNow has built those after years of research and talking to a number of companies on that. One of the great things about those workflows is they've got built-in reviews and approvals, and they also have removed some of the reviews and approvals. So you can stop the unnecessary approvals and all the emails that go with it.
And just hello, my name is Patrick, and I have an opinion here. I don't like emails. It just we get way too many emails, and then you don't know what's important, what's not important. And so if we can cut back on emails, all the better. Mary, do you remember that John Lennon song Imagine?
I do.
Yeah, see, a little known fact is that song is actually talking about imagining the world where you only received important emails that needed your attention. You didn't get all those spammy emails.
I had no idea, Patrick. You have opened my mind. Thank you for that. In companies I've worked for in the past, we created standard change requests. And what those do is they stop those approval emails because you've got proven successful changes that are documented and we know they're going to work. So why do we need somebody to approve them every single time? It's an out of the box workflow that can be used. So eliminate the unnecessary steps and those approval emails that John Lennon is not a fan of.
Yeah, exactly. And let's be honest. I mean, the harder it is to put in a change, the less likely it is to happen. You shouldn't have to jump through flaming hoops that are suspended 1,000 feet in the air over a pit of sharks with laser beams attached to their heads to submit a change order.
Absolutely. It should be easy to report changes and incidents and find patterns as well. Major incident management dashboards can be used to find potential problem candidates. This allows you to find them before they create more havoc in your environment. Using problems, you can communicate workarounds with users. So instead of having to reach out to 10 or 15 people who have the same issue, you can just click a button in the problem form and it communicates with those users that, hey, there's a workaround, you can get back up and working, and we're still working on the issue, the underlying issue to fix it. Problem tasks are also important to use with problems. That allows your team to simultaneously work on the root cause analysis and resolving the underlying issue itself.
Yeah. So, Mary, this is all well and good and all, but up to this point, we've only really focused on the support users. But what about the end users? What if I'm somebody that wants to, order a new mouse or a fancy new keyboard?
That's where request comes in, Patrick. So we have this great service catalog ability, and you could add catalog items to it. One thing that I would suggest users do is automate their requests as much as possible. ServiceNow has a flow editor that allows you to do this simply and easily. One other thing that I would remind users to do is capture the relevant information up front on the form. You can eliminate the back and forth between the end user and your service desk or whoever is assigned to the ticket. Save time, save headaches on that. And also don't ask for reference data that you already have. So ServiceNow is already going to have your user's location, their upline, their job code, their phone number. Don't ask them to put it in again. They might put it in wrong, or they might just get angry and decide, forget about it, I'm just going to deal with it.
And a really good business case here is ConAgra. When they implemented a self-service catalog, they decreased their support calls by more than 75%. And honestly, who doesn't love self-service? I mean, you feel so alive when you solve your own problems. And that really starts with identifying those opportunities and then automating that process.
That's a great point, Patrick. You are on it today, man. I got to say, I'm really impressed. So with your service catalog that you've got your users using, keep approvals to a minimum. Patrick, you mentioned getting a mouse and a keyboard. Do you really need multiple approvals or any approval for somebody to get that? For a
No way.
laptop, yeah. For a laptop, yeah. But for a mouse or a keyboard, yeah. Save everybody's time with that. And continually evolve your service catalog. Monitor what catalog items are being used. So if some are being used very frequently, pay attention to those. Monitor the usage of your service catalog and your catalog items. See what's being used the most and make sure that you're enhancing those so that it's easier for the users to use those items. And for those that aren't really being used, you can offline them. Save your time and focus on the things that your customers really use and really need.
Yeah, and related to the service catalog, one thing I find myself working with a lot lately is access requests. And this is a tremendous opportunity for automation. To automate that process out where, you're not waiting, bajillion years for someone to approve it and then implement it. Access requests are a great place for this. But once that access is granted, you're not out of the woods yet, right? Because increasingly there's a greater scrutiny when it comes to knowing like who has access to each system, when they got it, and who approved it. Something like a SOX audit is especially interested in this information, and you have to be able to readily provide it. And audit time is stressful enough without the struggle of playing detective to find out, when an employee was granted access to system XYZ. Instead, why not build a report that makes this information readily available right there at your fingertips? Here's the access request, here's who approved it, and here's when the access was granted. You need it for 6 months? Easy. You need it for the last year? Perfect. You need it for longer? No worries. It's not a problem.
Promote the dashboards and reports that you have available in ServiceNow. You have the information there at your fingertips. Let other people see it. Let them know. Um, People from leadership down to managers, down to individual people can access that and can look at the data. Let them see it. Let them be able to make decisions based on that. And ServiceNow makes it really easy to create and edit dashboards and reports. Let ServiceNow do the heavy lifting. You focus on other things.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And I don't know if this is a confessional or not, but Mary, honestly, sometimes I think of some of these reports and dashboards I've seen over the years, and I just break out in cold sweats and hives. We've had clients bring us in almost solely for the purpose of cleaning up their reports and dashboards. And I've seen extensive dashboards with multiple tabs and each one full of widgets. And honestly, it looks like some kind of command center for the universe. It's overwhelming. And you ask the question like, hey, what is this telling you? And they're like, we have no idea. And I look at it, I get discombobulated, I fall on my chair and hit my head. You shouldn't need the Rosetta Stone to read dashboards and reports. There is beauty in simplicity.
You're absolutely right, Patrick. Create reports that mean something to your company. Use the out of the box ones, see how they work, and then pick and choose the data that you need that somebody wants. Your C-level managers don't need to see the same data that your service desk manager needs to see. So create the reports that are appropriate for them and let them look at it whenever they want. They can filter on it however they want. They can do date ranges. They can do priorities. Let them have access to it so that they can see what they want when they want it.
All right. So you get our point. Yeah, ServiceNow, it's a powerful tool. It has many awesome capabilities that can make your ITSM practices work better together. But you may be asking yourself, well, where do I start? And that's where we come in.
We are experts in ITSM, from implementation to process efficiencies to just improving how you use ITSM and ServiceNow. We have different offerings depending on where you are in your ITSM journey and your maturity level. If you have purchased ITSM and you haven't started using it yet, we can help you roll out the ITSM capabilities in a phased approach that will meet where your organization is and on a maturity level that you are, and then we'll help you grow from there.
Yeah, Mary, what about organizations that already have ServiceNow implemented?
If you've already implemented ITSM and you want to go to the next level of maturity, we can help with that too. We'll focus then more on the ITIL processes that bring faster resolution to the most severe problems. We can help reduce costs by allowing employees to solve minor issues on their own by focus on or enhancing major incident management, knowledge management, service portal, and walk-up.
Oh yeah, very nice. But what about those organizations that they've been on service now for a while and they feel like they're a little bit more mature?
Yep. Yep. We do have mature organizations approach us. So they need help automating parts of ITSM. Yeah, we can do that too. It includes things like on call, virtual agent, agent workspace, and performance analytics. All of these will help you reduce hands on work, drive greater visibility, and faster issue resolution.
Perfect. Who doesn't love that? And so at ITS, we'll partner with you to help you achieve your business outcomes using ServiceNow's ITSM applications. We'll evaluate your pain points and help you determine your greatest opportunities for improvement. We're going to work with you to create an ITSM roadmap for your organization with phases that will take you from where you are to where you want to be.
We're consultants, not just implementers. We advise and consult along the journey, not just at the beginning. We are not the least expensive way to do this. If you want a strong foundation, cheap is not what you should be looking for. We are going to save you the headache of realizing that a cheap implementation was just that, cheap. So start with ITS and avoid all the headaches and limits you encounter down the road.
We only do ServiceNow, and quite frankly, like my pun earlier, we're good at it.
Mary and Patrick, thank you so much for speaking today. Our experts would love to work with you in your organization, whether that is providing further answers to questions you have from today's call or learning more how we can help you and your organization with your ITSM implementation. Visit www.itsdelivers.com/contact and someone will be in touch with you shortly.